All right, welcome back to the Coons Theater here on the campus of St. Anselm College in Manchester, New Hampshire. I'm John Bachman, and we have the top 4 candidates running for the U.S. Senate in this state's upcoming primary. Gentlemen, let's get back to it, and we'll stay on the topic of China. Now, this question is for all of you. We're talking about Speaker Pelosi's trip. It already aggravated a very tense situation between the U.S. and China. Do you think China is America's enemy, and what policies would you propose in the U.S. Senate to deal with China? And we'll start with Mr. Fenton.
Well, they're certainly our ideological enemy. I don't want to have enemies. I'd like to have more peace, and I'd like to mind our own business and not interfere with other countries and what they're doing around the world. But to be clear, absolutely, China has a very different ideology than ours. And we as Americans should recognize that, and we should be thinking about what makes our country special and what makes our country great. And in my opinion, that's freedom. It's economic freedom and human freedom. It's the ability for every American and every person in New Hampshire to be able to take the risks that they want, to be able to say what they want, to be able to do what they want. These values are under threat in our country because of bad ideology that is being exported from China, including ideology about the failed COVID policies, lockdowns, and things like that. This is coming from China. It is completely antithetical to our way of life and to the American way of life, and we must fight this ideology with our own strength. And our strength is freedom, the Constitution, and human rights. Thank you.
All right, next to Mr. Smith.
They're certainly not our friend, and I believe China is probably our biggest long-term threat. You know, again, I said we need to have peace through strength. You know, when Secretary Pompeo was in the States some months ago, he was asked a question. It wasn't about China, but was about Putin's invasion of Ukraine. They said, do you think Putin would have invaded Ukraine had you and President Trump still been in office? And he said, I can't tell you the answer definitively, but here's what I do know. They didn't. And that's because we had a peace through strength policy. You know, with China, there needs to be sanctions on them for the stealing of our IP. We need to make ourselves more competitive at home to bring manufacturing home. And the way we do that is by becoming energy independent again, lowering our energy costs, lowering corporate tax rates. The other thing is, look, President Xi is going for an unprecedented third term, and he's going to be doing a lot of bloviating and trying to bait the United States into a conflict. We can't take that bait. As I said, it's not in the best interest of either country, but we do need to be having a lot of strength through our military.
All right, next to the general.
Well, thank you very much. China is an existential threat to America. And I would love to live in a world where we didn't need a military, and we didn't need walls, and we didn't need borders, but that's just not the case. And China is the biggest threat to that. We need a China-resistant strategy, and that means we need to be hard on trade deficits. We need to ensure that we have free and fair trade. We need to get China out of our colleges and universities. We need to protect our businesses from China. They're stealing our intellectual property. What China is doing to our businesses is terrible. We need to get them out of our stock exchange. They have unprecedented rule in there without any regulation, and that's absolutely wrong. We need to have them stop buying farmland. They just bought farmland in North Dakota, right? Just 20 miles from one of our most strategic bases. I mean, this is insane. We got to stop them. We got to stop them in this country, and if we don't, we're going to be in big trouble, and we're going to see a war, and I don't want that.
Senator, to you.
Yeah, China is a bully, and we need to stop this. President Biden has made us weak. You know, Senator Gregg, not a month ago, commented on Ukraine and the fact that we really do have to understand what the problem is. We're weak on all our policies. We're weak on energy. We're not energy independent in this country. We need to get back to that. President Biden has to express that. And Maggie Hassan needs to stop voting with him to make us even weaker. We need to close the border and make sure that we do it through strength and not let millions of people come in this country and deliver the drugs that are killing people here in New Hampshire. Let's get America to be first again. That's what we need to do.
All right, we're going to talk about the general election next. This question is, again, for all of you here. New Hampshire currently has 2 Democratic senators. What would you say to supporters of Senator Hassan to convince them to vote for a Republican in this election? And we'll start with General Bullock.
Well, first of all, if you want a better economy, you want to stop the spending, and you want to secure America, and you want a better future for your grandchildren and children, you better vote for me. Otherwise, Maggie Hassan is going to do the same old things, the same old ways, and that has been hurting our country. She has supported Biden 100% of the time in all his policies that are ruining this country. Republicans, independent, Democrats, libertarians, whatever you call yourself, it should not matter. The future of our children is at stake here. The future of our grandchildren is at stake here. And she's at fault. For 5.5 years, she has not done anything to help Granite Staters. And I've been around the Granite State in every town and city for 2 years. And that is the complaint. We can't figure out one thing that she's done for the Granite State. I will tell you that I will reverse the economy. I will say hell no to out-of-control spending, and I will make America safe and secure for our children and grandchildren.
All right, Senator Morse, next to you.
Yeah. And I'm talking to Republicans, Independents, and Democrats. In 2015, I took on then Governor Hassan. I took her on with a budget that we delivered to her desk that had tax cuts in it. And Maggie Hassan said those tax cuts were going to blow a hole in the New Hampshire budget by $90 million. Well, I worked with the Speaker, and we went out and we talked to all the groups in New Hampshire, Republicans, Independents, and Democrats, and we got them to coalesce around the fact that we needed to pass a budget that was going to drive an economy in New Hampshire. We overrode Maggie Hassan's veto that fall. She had nothing to do with it, and I worked with people to make sure we got that done, and we provided for the people in the state of New Hampshire. That's what I'll do when I go to Washington.
All right, next to Mr. Smith.
You know, I've called Maggie Hassan Maggie hasn't, because Maggie hasn't been representing any of us here in the Granite State. She hasn't done anything to make us energy independent again. She hasn't done anything to stop the out-of-control spending. She hasn't done anything about parental rights and education. She hasn't done anything to make our border secure, even though she sits on the Homeland Security Committee. And she hasn't done anything about election integrity in this state, except she did the opposite and tried to federalize our local elections. But I got to bring something else up too, because Chuck, you know, Bill Parcells says you are what your record says you are. And the reality is, when you were Senate President and she was governor, you voted for 99% of the bills that Maggie Hassan signed into law. And in fact, you voted 3 times to expand Obamacare here in the state of New Hampshire. And Chuck, I'm sorry, that is not holding the line, that is towing the line for Maggie Hassan.
Back to you, Senator Morse, for a 30-second rebuttal.
Well, Kevin, let's be clear about this. I mean, you served in the legislature, and you probably don't understand it because you missed 61% of the votes. But there's a reality here. Republicans are the ones that passed legislation and put it on Maggie Hassan's desk, much like that budget I put on Maggie Hassan's desk. And Maggie Hassan had to decide whether she was going to adopt our policies or not. And that's what happened during that time period.
All right, we're going to go back to you, Mr. Smith. Do you want to address that claim about the missing the votes?
Yeah, well, you notice one, he didn't deny any of his record that I pointed out there. With regard to my time in the legislature, very proud of my record. I made 99% of the votes in the first year. The second year, again, I was 19 years old. I was going to school full-time at nights, working a full-time job, and my job situation changed. But you know what? I worked day and night, holidays, weekends for the people of the town of Londonderry as town manager, and also when I was at the Pease Development Authority. You can ask any of the developers, the stakeholders, anyone I worked with. I was always there for them, and I'll be for them in the United States Senate, too.
All right, let's get to Mr. Fenton to answer the question again. What would you say to supporters of Senator Hassan to convince them to vote for a Republican in this election?
Yeah, that was the original question. My opponents all talked about each other and a bunch of negative things about Maggie Hassan. That's not the way you're going to get those votes. I'm the person who can get those votes. I talk to these Democrats all the time. I talk to Democrats, I talk to independents, I talk to libertarians, free staters, and I certainly talk to a lot of Republicans. The way to reach these people is to explain that this is our country. It's all of our country. It's our country for all of us. And we have to embrace our core values of the Constitution and human rights and freedom, because if we don't have our freedom, the Democrats are going to be harmed by it just like anyone else. And also, I show them my tax plan. And I can show anybody in New Hampshire, and I've done this hundreds of times, I show them my plan and I say, here's a plan that will actually help you. And they can calculate, and sometimes they say what the numbers are, or they say it to themselves, but they know that there are real savings that they will have that will have a meaningful impact on people. That's how we can reach the independents and we can reach the Democrats in November, because we need them to win this election and take back the Senate seat from Maggie Hassan.
All right, let's talk about the issue of bipartisanship. And the question again is for all of you, if you are elected to the Senate and Republicans do not take back control of the Senate, can you work across the aisle to get things done with Democrats? Mr. Fenton, first to you.
Yes, absolutely. I can work with anybody. In my career, I'm known, cryptocurrency and the investment business is a very, an industry with a lot of infighting. And I'm known in my career as somebody who gets along with everybody. And there's certainly people in Washington, D.C. that I find reprehensible, but I would like to find common ground any way that I can. And that means anybody who is interested in reducing government, reducing tyranny, reducing the tax base, I'll work with them. AOC, she's obviously in Congress, not the Senate. I don't think I've ever seen anything that she agreed with, but I did hear her one time say that she is against accredited investor rules. I'm against those too. So even somebody like that, I would love to find common ground with. And unfortunately, we are entering a very, very unusual time right now in our history. Unfortunately, I think that over this next 6 years, we are going to be facing grave, grave threats to our country and our nation and our economy. And I think that, unfortunately, it's going to be so grave that even the Elizabeth Warrens of the world will have no choice but to make sensible votes.
All right, we'll go to Mr. Smith next on this one.
Sure, you know, Abraham Lincoln once said, when someone's right, I'll stand by them, and when they're wrong, I'll move away from them. You know, you can be unwavering in your conservative principles and still work with people to get things done. And that's exactly what I did in the town of Londonderry, as well as over at the Pease Trade Port Authority, to get successful fiscal and economic results there. You know, I had 200 employees in the town of Londonderry, 12 department heads, 6 unions, and yet we still got a lot done. In fact, one of the department heads who I was closest with, because we had a common purpose in seeing that the police department was the best department in the state of New Hampshire, was someone named Bill Hart. And for those of you who know Bill, he's actually just been appointed to be the next U.S. Marshal in the state, but he's a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. But we had a common value and common purpose there to see that we had the best-run police department in the state of New Hampshire. And so I would look for those commonalities with Democrats in the United States Senate to fix those issues that people so badly want us to do.
All right, General Bulldog, next to you.
Well, thank you. I spent my entire life reaching across the aisle, if that's what you want to call it. Bipartisanship, if that's what you want to call it. I call it working with people towards a common goal. I went from private sergeant, lieutenant to general. You don't do that unless you know how to work with people. I talked with presidents of other states, ambassadors. We brought peace. We brought clinics. We brought food. We brought humanitarian assistance. We saved lives. And although some people want to criticize the military for its actions, we save more lives than we take. And that's a fact. And in order to do that, and in order to get that accomplished, you have to be able to work with people. And when I go to Washington, D.C., I'll be able to work with them because I've done it before in Washington, D.C. I'm the only one up here that has done that. It's not theoretical to me. It is something that I have practically done for 4 assignments. So I can work with anybody. God bless you.
All right, Senator Morse.
Well, I don't think you get to be Senate President for 8 years in New Hampshire unless you are working with people. And I think that's an important part of what happened when we presented that budget to Maggie Hassan in 2015. We actually worked to make sure that Democrats understood that we dealt with mental health, we dealt with disabled children in New Hampshire. We worked hard to make sure we put a budget together that served the people in the state in New Hampshire. And we overrode her veto. She couldn't work with Republicans to get the job done, and we got it done for her.